Happy Monday, everybody. Hope you enjoyed your weekend. RTX 3080 list, just like I did. I just enjoyed my normal systems, as always. Anyways, actually, I do have a video coming out on my upcoming Ryzen 7 4750G build. So if you want to get subscribed to our second channel, Brainus, in order to check that out, I'll leave a link in the video description. But my mini ITX 4750G PC is finally ready to go, and I'm finally ready to talk about it. And now I'm finally ready to go ahead and talk about today's news, which is some RTX 3090 benchmarks have come out, and they are, well, to put it in the most decent way possible, it looks like the RTX 3090 is officially a Titan, because it looks like it offers 10 to 20% better performance at double the price. So the RTX 3090 performance reviews have come out from the Tech Lab as well as other tech reviewers, and it looks like in video games, it is about only 10% better. This is a leaked video from Tech Lab, who posted this on Bilibili. It's already been taken down. There was a re-upload on YouTube, but suffice it to say, this is the 3080 here on the right, this is the 3090 here on the left, and performance isn't spectacular at best. At best, what we're looking at, I think it's Death Stranding with DLSS turned off. 11% gain right there, 10% in some others. The average across all of the games tested was about 8.8%, which is obviously not that great considering you get a 3080 for $700 and you get a 3090 for $1,500. Those are not impressive numbers, but there's more benchmarks that kind of confirm that might be true. In Blender, it does look like the 3090 is a lot better of a performer, coming in at 20% greater. You are really looking like it's paying for the 24 gigabytes of GDDR6X memory, and so that's more for professional workloads, so 20% better here, still not accounting for double the price though. And then we can see here that there's even more 3D Mark benchmarks. However, somebody was able to test a gigabyte card with a shunt mod, which allowed it to draw more power than it otherwise would have. So 350 watts is the TGP design of the 3090. They were able to bump up the shunt mod to 550 watts, which resulted in better performance, as you can see here, versus the other benchmarks that we've seen, but still not to the point where it's anywhere near worth its price to performance value. So the benchmarks are quite good, and 550 watts is obviously quite insane. You're going to need some really, really good cooling on that to make it obvious, but it looks like the 3090 overall is exactly what a Titan was to the TI class cards. It's slightly better for a lot more money, but guess what? Are you going to find another card that's 10% better than the 3080? No, you're not, unless it's an overclocked 3080, and you can do a shunt mod on the 3080 to make it faster. Anyways, 3090. Do you buy one for $1,500? I don't quite think we're going to have the same hype and release issues that we saw with the 3080, because this is not looking like this is going to be a mainstream consumer card. But we do have a teardown as well that came out from a Vietnamese retailer who dropped the Gigabyte 3090 Eagle OC PCB breakdown. And one of the interesting things that I love about this is this power connector design, which is just on the board and then goes over like that. That's kind of neat to me. I don't know if it's necessarily a good thing. I just think it's kind of cool. We'll leave a link in the video description for you to check out this video so you can see the 3090 in all of its full glory, because likely you won't have one in your system. And let's go ahead and talk about Gigabyte unveiling a blower style card for the 3090 as well, called the Turbo 350 watt TDP. This might work really well in my mini ITX PC. I would absolutely love one. Gigabyte, if you're listening to me, I'd love to work with you on your 3090 launch. I have the perfect PC for the Turbo. Hit me up. And then let's talk about some worse RTX 30 series news, because a lot of people pick these up with monitors or TVs that were going to do that 4K 120 hertz setup that they wanted. But there's a report coming out of Reddit with essentially everybody having trouble with the most popular 4K 120 TV on the market, which is the LG CX or C9 TVs. And it turns out that 4K 120 hertz either introduces chroma subsampling or it has G-Sync issues and it's not working whatsoever. You want to use 4K 120, you have to have 422, and it's not based on HDMI 2.1 cables. It just seems like the TV itself is not running at 444 4K 120. So do you have an LG CX TV that's kind of causing you issues? Let me know down below. This is kind of sad for a lot of things. This is going to not be great for PS5, Xbox Series X reasons, and now obviously the 30 series. Yikes. But what's not yikes is the power requirements of the 30 series, because Optimum Tech actually did this video showcasing how it's possible to run an RTX 3080 on some of the most popular SFX power supplies in mini ITX systems. This is really great for me because it means that I can actually slot a 3080 into my mini PC build that I'm trying to work on. So big thanks to him for doing this. You can check out his video at the link in the video description. And then you won't need a 3080 to run Cyberpunk 2077 because on Friday they came out with the specifications that you need, both minimum and recommended system specs. And as you can see here, minimum is 780 3 gig or an RX 470, and then recommended is a GTX 1060 6 gig or an R9 Fury. What this clearly means is that AMD runs worse on this game than NVIDIA because, wow, that is the 1060 and the Fury are not in the same ballpark. The 1060 and the 470 kind of are. Anyways, 70 gigabyte install seems to be it. And then you can see the processors on the screen in case you want that. But CD Projekt Red also confirming that Cyberpunk 2077's main story is actually going to be slightly shorter than The Witcher 3 because they saw that not enough people actually completed the story of The Witcher 3 because it was so long. However, they are saying that all of the side quests and the extra stuff that's not part of the main story is going to be bigger than The Witcher 3. They just don't know how many hours it is at this point. But with how they've done side quests in The Witcher 3, I actually don't think that's going to be lesser content. That actually seems like it will be just as enjoyable given their track record. So are you excited for Cyberpunk? Let me know in the video description. Speaking of a game that's big, Marvel's Avenger is big on being broken and now big on being fixed, with them coming out with a patch that fixes over 1,000 bugs that were in the game. However, not without issue, it introduced its own bug, which doesn't allow you to do weekly challenges because it results in a crash. So fix 1,000, add another one. Good job, Square Enix. That's been the best launch ever. But while we're talking about video games, let's talk about the PS5. Obviously, we had the issues with the RTX 30 series pre-order last week, and there was also some confusion about the PS5 pre-order. Sony didn't announce it in their showcase that when they released the price and the release date for it, but then it started leaking to retailers. Anyways, they apologized, saying that they could have been a lot smoother, and over the next few days, there will be more PS5 consoles for pre-order, and retailers will share more details, which makes it even more confusing because they're not saying when it's going to happen. Microsoft has a much better strategy. Tomorrow, I believe it's 11 a.m. Eastern, we're going to be able to actually pre-order the Series S and the Series X from all retailers, as well as Microsoft directly with the All Access subscription package. That makes sense. Saying that we have to look to individual retailers to get more details is kind of what already happened. It's kind of bullcrap, in my personal opinion, with what Sony's doing here. But what's not bullcrap is how big this console is, because it's been actually rulered, and it looks like it is just a chunky boy coming in at a length of 15.4 inches. This is the biggest console ever released. It is massive. On its side, this horizontal laying aspect, that is a Nintendo Switch in a dock size. This thing is absolutely banana hammock large, which we got indication on how large the games are going to be. Demon's Souls Remake is going to be 66 gigabytes on the PS5, whereas Spider-Man Miles Morales Ultimate Edition is going to come in at 105 gigabytes. In case you didn't hear, the Ultimate Edition does come with a complete remaster of the original PS4 game. So you're getting not only the Miles Morales expansion standalone game, but you're getting the original with all ray tracing glory as well. And just in another interview that the CEO of Sony did, Jim Ryan, coming out and saying that he does think that coming out with a cheaper PS5 would have been havoc and not necessarily good, because people are expecting these consoles to last a long time. So having one that is commoditized like the Series S is just going to have to be replaced in 2 to 3 years. And so it doesn't actually make sense from a console developer's point of view to make. Do you agree with this? Do you wish that there was a cheaper PS5 besides the digital edition that's slightly less powerful? Or are you expecting that something like the Series S is going to have a mid-season refresh in order to compete? Speaking of mid-season refresh, OnePlus with their 8T getting a refresh in October 14th, apparently, is the day that is happening. Speaking of phones, though, iOS 14 got some new app updates and how you can actually work on it. And there's picture-in-picture mode with Windows and all of that. Well, it appears that YouTube has stopped working with that mode because YouTube came out and said that's a premium feature. You're allowed to do it on Android for free, but you want to do it on iOS? You're going to have to pay for YouTube Premium, which is just apparently what they're doing, because they're just slapping ads everywhere. Like, we try to watch YouTube as a family sometimes, like certain videos that we're trying to do, and it's just ad after ad after ad. It's insane. UFD Tech is grateful for ads because it helps us, but it's also been really, like, they're driving home the fact that you really need to get YouTube Premium if you want to enjoy your YouTube experience, which is not good in the long run. Speaking of not good in the long run, you know what's not good in the short term? Having critical issues on Windows servers, with the Department of Homeland Security issuing a critical warning because of a new vulnerability known as Zero Logon, which allows complete compromise of remote access to Active Directory services on a network without the sign-in, and that could obviously ruin a whole lot. There is a patch for it, but the Department of Homeland Security urging everybody update your servers ASAP, because it's going to be bad news bears if you don't. And it's going to be bad news bears for not going public, because Unity had its IPO last week and it is now valued at $18 billion after it launched, which is more than what Epic Games did its fundraising at, which was $17 billion valuation, which just kind of indicates that, I think Epic Games is actually potentially, especially with Unreal Engine, a bigger player in the game than Unity is. So Epic, if they went public, probably would be valued more than $17.3 billion. So it's kind of hard to say which is real, stock market or private valuations. Who knows? Let's talk about what is real as well. Asus announcing a partnership with Acronym to come out with the special edition Zephyrus G14. I don't like the key layout on this whatsoever. I get that it's like a special stylized thing, but this just bugs the crap out of me. Anyways, you can see the pictures here. It is a wild laptop having so many A's. That's a lot of A's. I get it, but it's already sold out, so you can't get it. $2,500 is how much this thing went for. G14 obviously already in short supply because of its great performance with the Ryzen 9 chip. Well, now the special edition one also sold out. And then what also sold out was TikTok, because they had to, because the US government was forcing them to, or else they were going to be shut down. And the US government preliminarily agreeing to a deal where Oracle is going to be the cloud service provider to TikTok in order to keep it on in the US, and then somehow Walmart's involved in the deal. I'm not 100% sure on the details. I don't think anybody is, but the preliminary deal has kind of been set so that even though TikTok was supposed to be banned from the US app stores yesterday, it's not. I don't know. If you're a TikTok creator, what are you doing right now? Are you just trying to be like, I'm done with this platform, I'm tired of the confusion, I'm going to move on? Or you're just like, there's no other way that I could create content, TikTok's the place to be? Let me know down in the comments if you're making any content on TikTok. And let me know if you're making an electric vehicle that might be a fake, because Nikola kind of maybe allegedly did that, according to a whistleblower, as well as some SEC investigations that are currently going on. And the CEO is now resigning because of that, because one of the trucks that they showed was actually working and driving by itself. Well, they towed it up to the top of a 3% grade hill and then let it just kind of drift down. And then when they showed it off on stage and they were like, it's absolutely working, that was a complete lie, and it actually wasn't working. And so now the CEO actually resigned, because this is kind of a big deal. However, GM has agreed to provide all of the technology for Nikola in their trucks, so Nikola doesn't actually have to develop any technology anymore. And so I don't know what GM's getting out of the deal, and a former GM chairman is going to take over the role right now for that. So crazy stuff going on in the electric vehicle world, and crazy stuff going on here at Hot News. That's going to be the end of what's going on today. Don't forget, maybe check out our second channel, Brainist, so you can stay up to date on some tech content that we can't get to posting here on the main channel because we do Hot News. So you can check it out. 4750G build. You want to find out how good it is? I'll let you know over on that channel. I think that video should be live tomorrow. So that's going to be it. I'm Brett. Hit the like button if you get some satisfaction out of what I do here, and I will